Welcome back to the End of Life Lounge. This is episode 4, and just like last time, we're going to be choosing a card from both card decks and discussing them. Alright, I'll have you choose this time.
Death doulas can provide additional specialized support during serious illness. Would you consider involving one in your care? Yes, I'd love the compassionate support of a doula. Maybe, if my family wants more guidance and assistance. Or, what the heck is a death doula? Please tell me more.
So since I'm a death doula, yes, I would want one. I think they're beneficial for both the person that is dying as well as the family and friends. And even if they're not at the dying stage yet, doulas can help with a lot of things like advanced care planning and kind of what you can anticipate to happen. They can also help with a bit of the anticipatory grief. So I think I would want one.
Yeah.
I know I would want one.
I would agree. I would want a death doula too. And it's definitely because I am educated on what one is through you. And I think a lot of it for me is the support factor. Like, they're not a doc. I don't know.
I will
Like,
be a
going
doctor,
with-
but death doulas aren't a doctor. No.
Yeah, they'll be more relatable, I feel like, or compassionate, as opposed to a doctor that might just be giving you your medications and telling you how your illness is going. Like, a death doula would be there to provide more care.
Yeah. It's really just an outside person that's educated either through their own life experience or via an actual death doula program, or both, like in my case, that can provide that emotional support or physical support too, like depending on if your doula is comfortable with certain things, kind of like a PSW or like home health care like nurse would do. Certain doulas would feel comfortable enough to aid in some of that, but there's definitely even like legal stuff, like doulas need to have insurance for certain things, but they can provide like a whole realm of support without being a PSW or without being a specific nurse or a doctor or therapist. Like, these death doulas are really specific to the dying process, which is cool.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick a reflection card. I want you to do it for me. Hospice help. Very similar.
Yeah.
Hospice is a team of physicians, nurses, social workers, chaplains, home health aides, and volunteers providing care at the end of life. What, if any, has been your experience with hospice?
One of us has had experience with hospice.
Yeah. Do you want me to speak on it?
Well, yeah, you can definitely talk about it.
Okay. So my insight is I volunteer with 3 different hospice organizations for adults and for children. And my experience is that it's always been great as far as what specific clients have said about hospice help. Like, as far as I know, like everyone that I've come in contact with have had great experiences with hospice. That being said, there are certain articles out there, there's certain, personal experiences that have had negative impact, like have had negative experiences with hospice, but I think that is true of really any form of care in general. Like, I can list off 10 bad experiences I've had with doctors, and that's not to discredit doctors altogether, it's just my experience with certain ones. And it's the same with hospice. Like, you can't just say all hospice is bad because you heard of one person having a bad experience. So my experience has been that it's really great. Being a volunteer is a bit different than actually being the one that receives it, but with my own family's experience, hospice was great. I think if you're educated in what hospice actually is before you accept it as a form of help is really important, because you can accept hospice for, like, say your loved ones, like, no, I want to go home on hospice. They might not actually understand what that means, because hospice is not 24/7 care like a hospital. Like, your friends and family really have to do everything for you. Hospice has 24/7 nurse care in an emergency, but not in general, which is a huge discerning factor. Like, a lot of families get into it and realize how little support hospice is, when hospice is really meant for you to be home and be with your loved ones and family while you die.
Yeah. And your dad had hospice. I remember now, I think, seeing them come in at least a few times, and they weren't long visits, I don't think, but
No.
I remember them being nice.
Yeah, they're always, like, pleasant to be around and know that they're coming into. My family was huge, so I feel like one little nurse coming into a whole realm of people is probably overwhelming for them, but they would come in, like, weekly or twice weekly. Anytime we needed them, they would come, but in general, they would come in, like, once a week just to check in to see how things are going. But it's not like a regular doctor visit or what you would expect in a hospital, where they're taking vitals every, couple hours. That's not hospice. Like, You are dying, and you're going to die in a very natural way, which can be unsettling for families to witness, especially if you're not educated in what death and dying looks like. You might call the hospice nurse all the time, or feel like you need to, because you don't know what that is. So I think hospice is great for a lot of people. It's not for everyone. If you don't want to die at home or in a different, like in a hospice house, then a hospital is really your only other option. But for people who don't want to die at home, there is a hospice house that you can go into. Like, regardless of where you are, there's a hospice facility that's not a hospital, but a hospice that you can enter. So I know a lot of people don't want to die at home, don't really enjoy dying in a hospital, then you have another option to go to. Which can be great. And a lot of insurances cover hospice as well, which is great. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I don't think so. Other than, I would probably want hospice too, along with the death doulas.
Yeah, you can use both for sure. That's what I do. So. Yeah. Well, thanks for listening to episode 4.
Bye.
Bye.